mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, a Tomb of Annihilation D&D campaign happening every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. And just a heads up, looks like the Twitch servers are experiencing an overload like everybody else, and we're getting all kinds of buffering issues. We're going to see how this settles out. It was doing good prior to the stream. Now that we are right at the beginning, now that we're rolling along, I'm going to keep an eye on it. We are in the red. We are dropping frames like crazy. If you're in the chat with us, can you make sure, let us know if you're able to hear everything all right. I know the video's a little wonky, but let me know if you're able to hear everything okay. And before I forget, what you're looking at, the channel's first subscriber ever has just resubscribed for 26 months. So we're going to go ahead and get you guys one of these domain devils. One of those handy little things there. Yeah, the stream is, I don't know if anybody else is monitoring the stream like I am. For me, it keeps buffering. You're seeing the same thing, Em?
Yeah, it keeps buffering every couple of minutes.
For
me.
Yeah, Dwight says it's buffering really bad. What you're looking at says I can hear you fine. There's a note that comes up. It says, is video buffering? Use the low latency toggle under the advanced menu in settings to disable low latency mode. That might be in your viewing settings. So I'm going to do that and see what happens here. I'm going to disable low latency and just see what happens. Somewhere the internet just blew up because I flipped a switch that I wasn't supposed to. So I don't know if that's going to stop it buffering on my end. Sorry, I don't like it when we're buffering so bad and people can't watch us. But keep us apprised in the chat if you are struggling to hear us or if we're cutting out and you're missing big chunks. Let me know. What you're looking at says it seems to have smoothed out. So we're gonna drive ahead unless we lose the connection altogether, or it's turning into a crap show. Welcome to the internet in 2020 when everybody is at home on the internet in the entire world. Also, apparently this is your fault, Mike, because you shaved. I wasn't gonna say anything to it, but Dwight blames you for that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. Oh yeah, this this is comforting. It says live and unstable on my dashboard. I'm assuming it's referring to the Twitch stream and not me. So, yeah, we're going to do a couple quick announcements. Look, this is the 64th episode called The Gears of Hate. And a lot of you have been with us for this whole time, so you know what's going on as far as we've got some domain devils here. Domain dice are explained in the crawl below, or you can type !domain dice. If you want to affect how the players play the game, give them a chance to re-roll some dice, throw a $5 tip, throw a 500-bit cheer, or subscribe or resubscribe to the channel. That's all you got to do. Shout out to D&D Beyond for giving us insider access and allowing us to power the stream with D&D Beyond, letting us go over the where you can mouse over the overlay and you can see everybody's characters, and I'm running all of my D&D campaigns off of the D&D Beyond app, the digital books and everything. So shout out to them for that. Jasper's Game Day is somebody who we are proud to be partnered with. You can type !Jasper in the chat like I just did, bringing up a link to where you can donate to Jasper's Game Day, a wonderful organization that is dedicated to raising awareness and prevention of suicide through tabletop gaming. And coming up in May 3rd through the 7th, we have an epic week of gaming coming up right here on the channel, where we are going to have 60 hours of gaming over that week from noon to midnight for all 5 days. We're going to have 20 game masters. We're going to have around 100 players, tons of prizes, and ultimately we are raising money to benefit Jasper's Game Day and help fund suicide crisis centers around the country. Another way you can help is through Initiative Coffee Company, who I have partnered with, just by typing, whoops, I can't spell coffee, typing exclamation point coffee in the chat. You will bring up the link where you can purchase your own Mitadare roast coffee, a wonderful medium roast Brazilian and Peruvian coffee. For every 12-ounce bag you purchase, $3 of that purchase price goes directly to Jasper's Game Day and funding those suicide prevention, suicide crisis centers. I feel like I already did the D&D Beyond. Okay, the last thing that I want to say, and this is important, especially in these, I hate to say these trying times, because that's what everybody's saying, is referring to it as these trying times. We know what's going on. Everybody in the world knows what's going on right now with COVID-19 and the coronavirus and these stay-at-home orders. It is important for you to wash your hands, stay at home, practice social distancing, all of that stuff that everybody's telling you to do and various governments are ordering you to do. But during that time, it can be difficult being isolated away from friends and family, and not having your usual avenues of outlet for some people. I know for myself, I'm used to being online and hanging out with people and running online games, and it's not a huge disruption to me. But for other people, I know it can be very difficult. So we want you to know more than ever these days that you matter. Wherever you are, it can be a struggle, but you matter. And you might not realize that, but it's true. But even in this weird time that we're in right now, there are people out there that you can talk to, and you should not hesitate to talk to. So if you find yourself at any time during any Mini Terrain Domain stream struggling with these thoughts, questioning whether or not you matter, you can type !help in the chat, or you can watch along the crawl down at the bottom, and some wonderful phone numbers of resources will show up. as you can see there now in the chat. If you are in the United States, you can call the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And if you are a veteran, you can type the number 1 after that, and you will be connected with a veteran specialist counselor. Or you can text 741-741. In Canada, you can reach the crisis text line by texting CONNECT for English or PARLER for French to 686-868, or you can call the Canada Suicide Prevention Services. Counselors available in French or English. Toll free at 1-833-456-4566. If you are located elsewhere in the world, you can go to that link that showed up in the chat, or you can go to your browser, type in opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines, and be connected with a ton of resources for countries around the world. Again, you matter, and if you're struggling with that, please do not hesitate to reach out to somebody. All right. I think that about covers it. Hopefully, things have still leveled out. I know the video looks a little choppy, but I'm imagining the audio is still doing pretty good. We're in the red, and we're dropping a ton of frames. But as long as you guys can hear us, we're going to drive on with this. That low latency thing, if you're watching on Twitch and you click on the gear in the lower right hand corner, you can click on advanced options, and there's a checkbox to disable low latency. I did that and my video stopped buffering. It just has this sort of choppy, almost stop motion appearance to it. And it looks like we just for the first time in 10 minutes went into the green and stopped dropping frames. So I'm not going to talk about what's going on technology-wise anymore unless we lose that connection, because I think we all just want to either play or watch some Dungeons & Dragons. So I'm going to recap the last few sessions, and I'm going to briefly show a map that I showed the players before the game. Since they have basically completed about 95% of this level, there is almost no rooms in this level that they have not already seen. Ironically, the central hub of this level is the only place they haven't actually dealt with. But these adventurers have been making their way through the Tomb of the Nine Gods. They have nearly completed the 4th level of the tomb, known as the Chambers of Horror. In doing so, I'm going to go ahead and show this map here. This is the map of the level. That came down the central staircase. They chose to go down the south corridor, turned left into that small square room in the southwest where they discovered the magic mirror of trapping that trapped Brilinya, but she, through quick thinking and knowledge, was able to disable it. They continued on to that area to the right, where they found the Black Opal Crown. They encountered a couple of deadly creatures as Barghists. Barghis, is that right? No, Bodax. It was Bodax that they encountered. The doors also sealed shut behind them, and the only way to get those doors open was for Vale to, well, somebody had to. Vale chose to do it. Stuck his arm in a green devil face and sacrificed his right arm from the elbow down in order to get that door open. They continued in through those small doors, those small square lighted rooms, teleporting through a couple of those, which were some elemental traps, into that plus-size shaped room to the right. All of those red circles were terracotta warriors. They managed to make their way through to the teleportation circle in the southern part of the room, which promptly turned them all into different animals, but teleported them outside of the mirror. They met a lizard along the way. Then they continued on to the western chamber, up into that big square room at the top where a couple of them, Vale and Brilinya, had to fight off Minotaur skeletons, while Taliel and Qualu went into the miniature dwarven forged maze that was on the wall, got teleported into miniature in there, found some keys. Taliel got super lucky, found an amazing key that allowed her to open up the sarcophagus, getting to Unk's treasure within, but also was given a boon that for the next 3 days can smell within 30 feet of her any valuable metals or jewels. And Qualu finally, after much struggling, with only a 1% chance to do so, found a key himself. Though the sarcophagus was already opened, he did gain a boon called the 9 Lives boon. 9 times Qualu can be knocked down to 0 hit points and instead be reduced to 1 hit point. Qualu has become all but unkillable, and I will be putting that to the test over the next several sessions. They continued through there. They briefly encountered a grandfather clock. They quickly found that it had an invisible door, found the invisible key, opened the door, got the valuable item off the pendulum, the moonstone. The last room contained 3 blind artists, some statues. Qualu decided to mercy kill the blind artists and triggered a zombie T-Rex that was hidden beneath the floor to pop up and cause a little bit of problems, while the others went into a room to the north where they found the old Omuan queen, Queen Napaka, held in stasis. And through a series of missteps, they also found a necklace of fireballs that Vale gave to Qualu, who immediately put it on, and all 8 pearls of fireball exploded at once. Then they tried to grab the scepter out of Queen Napaka's sepulcher, and immediately gas expelled out of her mouth, causing more damage to everybody. They realized they needed the twin scepter from the other room, from the throne of bone, and they replaced it, gaining the new scepter made of adamantine, and learning that it has a singular purpose: to destroy a construct by the name of Napaka, though they have never encountered this construct and do not know where it is. And that is where we are picking up as they have finished up that area. You only have that central section. I'll bring the map one last time as a reminder. You are in the far western room, having just recovered all of this. And the central staircase has the grand staircase area is the only area you have not dealt with. Oh, you did also get from that last room, Qualu killed one of the skeleton keys, gaining its head, which they still don't know what those things do, but they know that there's been one on every level. And finally, adventurers, what would you like to do?
Qualu is like wiping off the filth of rummaging through the T-Rex's guts for anything of value, knowing that whoever built this great tomb or populated with such nefarious traps would probably hide something of great value within the guts of a zombie to try to humiliate us even more. But Qualu ultimately recognized that he was ultimately being humiliated by finding nothing. And through this kind of realization and grime, he's looking up at the other companions, wondering, well, what do we do now? he might even ask. This is the last wing.
I think we should head back. Go to the main atrium. See where we can go from there. Yeah, I suppose we can only go further down later.
Very well.
So is the plan then to head to that central area?
The weird statues, yep.
Okay. Since it's pretty much been since you originally entered this level in real time a month or more ago, I will read the description of this room again for you. As you enter, you come in out of that hallway to the west, and you're still up on the balcony looking down over this big open area, and you see that at the bottom of this grand staircase, you can actually hear from in between these four gargoyles. In the center there, you see that 10-foot by 10-foot shaft that's darkened, descends deep down into who knows where. You hear a resonant mechanical rumbling, this just sort of constant this sort of distant but resonant sound. There are four cylindrical stone pedestals surrounding this shaft, each 10 feet tall and 5 feet wide, and featuring a tiny slot in its side. Squatting atop each pedestal is a large four-armed gargoyle. Looking at it from above as you are, you can see that each gargoyle is contained within a square of metallic tile embedded in the top of the pedestal. Starting with the northernmost pedestal and going clockwise, the tiles are copper, silver, gold, and platinum. What would you like to do?
I think Qualu's kind of pacing around this place, kind of peering down this shaft. Like, ooh, it's a long fall. And kind of like looking up at these gargoyles a bit idly. He doesn't really know what to do with this here. Beyond like, well, someone's gonna have to hop down.
Do you think we have to pay? Like, put a copper piece in, and then put a silver piece in, gold and platinum? Because you said there was a slot, right? Like a small,
Yep,
like a coin slot?
pretty much. That's what it looks like.
Mm.
That might just be the right answer, Vale.
The only thing, though...
You have a platinum piece?
I do. The only thing, though, is this. Is it maybe that this will help us attain some deeper level of this abomination? Or is it just another trap where we drop in a copper piece and it activates the copper one and silver and gold and so on and so forth? Or if we get it wrong and it all starts and we only have so many pieces.
And also, what order? Is there an order? Do we put it in one at a time, or does it require all four people to put it in at once?
Really quick, Jake. You remember like that spiel that we had for the beginning of this level? Would we be able to hear that one more time, just in case it has something to do with this?
I believe the spiel you are referring to is the
like the riddle. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
like,
the riddle.
Yeah. Thanks. Words are hard.
No, that was just me vamping as I'm bringing up that pertinent riddle.
Nicely done.
So, for this level, Acerak's fourth warning was, which you can clearly see. It's right next to you as you stand on the balcony overlooking this area. Death to fire, dine or drown, precious air and falling sand. The army sleeps in silence. The mirror holds 12. Find the iron scepter's twin. The maze holds the key. And I believe Brilinya has made copious notes of these and has been referencing them throughout.
Well, I suppose. Well, then, I suppose we've gone through them all. I'm gonna climb down. Maybe there's some more writing somewhere else on the pillars or on something.
Yeah, be careful. And maybe only, look for writing right now. See if there is anything. I will. If maybe the three of you could cover me, just in case.
I'll lower you a rope.
Well, the stairs go all the way down, don't they? Like down to that level?
You're talking about going down to the level with the gargoyles?
Correct. Or the four statues.
Oh, okay. Yes, you guys are on. Yeah. You guys are on that balcony looking over, and Vale, you're talking about just going down the stairs.
Yeah, I was going to go down the stairs and check out all four. Yeah. So I'd probably like to take like a general like overview of the room, see if there's like a small like maybe on the other side where we can't see of the balcony, like like if you look like straight down on that wall, see if maybe there's like either a mural or some writing or a plaque, like a mall directory. Maybe there's a tomb directory.
You are here.
That's right. It's like, oh man, look, a San Francisco. I didn't think they had any of these left. Oh hey, a Radio Shack, cool.
Yeah, you guys totally missed the Cinnabon.
Oh man.
Oh, now you know what? Whoa, no. Hey, hold on.
While he's going down, while Vale's going down, Taliel is going to have her bow out and readied in case something jumps out.
Vale, go ahead as you head down there. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
You got it. Let me just make sure I get this right. I don't even know why I'm even doing this. I mean, I'm doing it obviously because good party members and all, but I got like a +0 to my investigation. So, hey, okay. I mean, it's not a 20, but I did roll a 16. So there you go, 16. All right. It is.
So you head down there. You start looking around, and you're now once again. Or rather, I should say for the first time. This is actually the first time anybody has gone down here to the level of these gargoyles. You briefly pass through this area in bat form. So as you're down here on the floor level, these pillars that they're standing atop are 10 feet tall. And then these large four-armed gargoyles are standing on top, and they are looming, their forearms stretched out, their mouths open, their wings just beginning to looking like they're about to unfurl, frozen in this stone position. You, looking around, notice there are several cracks in the floor tiles all around this area. You don't see anything of note on that wall to the left under the balcony, which is actually kind of surprising. It's a fairly unadorned wall. There's no markings. It's just smooth stone. And from this level, you can hear that sort of mechanical droning from far below. And you can almost feel the sort of rumbling just faintly in your feet from something further down below. And you can see that at roughly 5 feet up at the midway point on each of these cylinders is this slot that looks basically like a coin slot.
And there's nothing written on the pillars themselves?
There is not.
All right. Well, I'm going to reach into my pack. I'm going to go to the one that is copper.
That would be the northern one, the one at the 12 o'clock position.
So I'll just hold up a copper piece and then kind of look to everyone else for like, am I going to do this? Am I not going to do this?
Qualu gives an approving shrug.
You can see Taliel's got her bow trained on the gargoyle statue, I guess, at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, Brilinya has a Eldritch Blast ready.
All right.
Okay. Now, just before I do this, I'm going to kind of lay on hands myself.
As you
I'm
do.
gonna heal myself, as I do. And I'm going to heal myself for 40 hit points.
Okay.
Just in case.
Is it really lay on hands or just lay on hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would be lay on hand, but like not in a way that's, dirty. Yeah. Like that you. And I take a copper piece and I plunk it in.
So you plunk a copper piece down into the slot on the northern one, and you slide it in through the stone, and you hear this as it drops into coins down below. Inside the stone pillar, you hear it thunk in.
Okay. I'll reach in my pack and I'll pull out a silver piece. I'll walk to the silver one. And plunk one in.
It drops in.
And same with the gold.
You drop a gold coin in. And then all that's left is platinum.
And then I'm gonna basically take the platinum, and I'm gonna look at it longingly because I'm not used to having money and seeing this platinum piece. It's like, wow, this could, this could keep someone comfortable for years, like us, a simple worker for years, like, and kind of shake it off and just put it in.
All right. You do so. Nothing changes.
All right.
Other than the weight of your coin purse.
So I'll look at everyone else and shrug my shoulders, and I'll walk back to the stairs.
What were we expecting to happen?
I don't know. I mean,
Are you
maybe
Are you just at the bottom of the stairs talking up at them, or are you going back upstairs?
I'm gonna go back upstairs.
As soon as you place your first foot on the first step, you hear and all of you see as all 4 gargoyles shift to look at Vale. And then you hear this sort of churning. You can faintly hear the sound of churning coins within the cylinders, as if they're just sort of being kind of shifting around. And then all 4 gargoyles go and settle back into their positions.
So I'm gonna not go up the stairs. I'm gonna walk back. And any changes? No changes there?
Nope.
Did I see anything else happen other than them like all turning towards me?
Nope. Nothing else happened.
Okay,
Just
what
the
if
gargoyles momentarily shifted. The coins shifted.
So all four were okay.
And then they went back to
So
their
all
position.
four were facing me, right? Like all four were facing me.
Yeah.
So like even the one in the north, like okay. But I didn't die.
No.
I'm just not used to that. Or I didn't get attacked or injured in some fashion. Well, that's good. Well, now what?
I guess maybe we just go down the shaft to the next level.
Maybe.
Do you think we should put things in at the same time? Because there's 4 of us. 4 slots.
Well, the maker of this tomb couldn't have known that each group would have 4. In fact,
no, I'm sure that they would want us to.
But they looked at.
They looked and they let him go. So maybe.
Yeah, it could very well be a trap. We all have to pay to keep them happy or something.
Yeah, that could be.
So I think Taliel and Brill, you should probably put coins in there. And just so we can see what happens, Qualu, maybe you shouldn't do anything.
It's a good idea. Yes.
No.
I know, of course it is.
I think we should all put something in.
We should, yeah. One of each.
One of each and then go down the shaft?
I think that would be a good idea.
Do you still have your rope?
I do. Yes.
Might be good. We might want to lower someone down or put some sort of like flame or light down, drop something to see how deep it goes.
Yeah, and when the gargoyles turned to look at Vale, did just the gargoyles turn or did the pillars themselves move as well?
Just the gargoyles shifted on the pillars.
So we could probably use the pillar to anchor the rope, I'm thinking too.
Idea.
Qualu has a bit of a problem.
Just one?
Yes, just one. Qualu has no money.
I can pay for you, Qualu.
Make sure, though, it goes in his hand.
Yes. And in fact,
they're a little finicky usually, but maybe.
And I think at this point, Taliel would be getting out her coin purse and getting out one of each of the coins for you, Qualu.
Oh, thank you.
I have, apparently, according to my sheet, I have 5,000 silver. That's it.
Okay, I got you covered too then.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, it's more money than Qualu's ever had. Been ashamed to throw it away into these gargoyles.
So
perhaps Qualu should hang on to them just in case.
So am I hearing this correctly? You're distributing coinage so everybody has one of each? Okay.
Yep.
Yes, except for Vale because he's already done it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to head down and put copper and so on and so forth?
Mm.
All right. It just takes a few moments for this, the distribution of coins and the pouring or dropping in of the coins into, and you all clearly hear it as you drop your coins in through the slot. You hear this sort of metallic sound that your coin is landing amongst what sounds like many more coins.
Qualu's got his ears kind of pressed to when someone else is doing it. Does he hear where the coins land? Does it sound like it's coming like inside the belly of the gargoyle or the pillar or somewhere way down below?
It sounds like it's landing in the pillar.
Ooh. I think Qualu will tell that to everyone. Is like,
I mean, it's no big insight check or anything. It seems to you like these pillars are probably basically like 10-foot tall stone piggy banks.
Yeah, I think that Qualu's trying to figure out whether their coins are in there or somewhere where way beneath in some long shaft.
No, it sounds like it's just like a few feet below the coin slot.
The coins are all here.
Qualu, I know what you're thinking. But I'm thinking that maybe if we manage to survive and get what we need done in this tomb done, maybe on the way back you could smash the pillar that you're looking for.
Okay.
Are there any like rocks or stones in this area?
There's pieces of broken bone, as well as the banister that broke a couple levels up from that skeleton key that fell off the balcony. You'd already retrieved the head, but pieces of broken bone are all around this floor.
Perfect. Brilinya is going to grab a larger piece of either bone or banister or rock and cast light on it and drop it into the shaft just to see how far it goes down.
Okay. As you do so, you see the lighted thing drop, and it only falls about 25 feet, and you see it land in the middle of what almost looks like a compost pile. The light casting around rotted vegetation, and like I said, it's only about 20 feet down below. The shaft itself seems to be about 15 feet. And then there's 10 feet of open space and some kind of room down there.
Brilinya would turn to Taliel and it looks only to be about 25 feet down. I think your rope is long enough, right?
Yes, it'll be plenty long.
Perfect. Okay. Good.
Shall I descend first?
So you're planning on using your magic rope?
Yes. Yeah.
Rope
Attaching it to one of the pillars for words are failing me. To secure it and then go down there.
I
have to say a word, I believe.
I always love when I mistype common words. Misspell them. I spelled of O-V because I'm a moron. Let's see. Okay. Just double checking. Yeah. So you're able to attach the rope and slide. You're able to attach the rope and you are able to climb carefully down the rope through this hole in the floor. Sorry, I'm being very careful about the words I'm using. There's so many opportunities for double entendres and the phrasing.
And if it matters, I will tell the rope to knot so that it has knots every 1 foot intervals to make it easier to climb down.
Okay. So, yeah, no problem. Taliel, you descend down into the next area, and are you waiting for Taliel to respond back, or is everybody just climbing down immediately?
I think Brilinya would wait at least until Taliel is down, feet touching whatever is down there.
Well, yeah.
Until Taliel gives the okay.
So Taliel, as you land on this next level, a pungent stench fills this pentagonal room, the walls of which are covered with riveted sheets of iron. A wild garden full of sickly plants and rotting compost takes up most of the interior. The narrow path hugs the walls between 2 exits. Jutting from the middle of the garden is a 6-foot-tall, rusty sprinkler. You have landed right next to this giant sprinkler. You can see that this room that you are now in is, from where you are now to the west, there is an opening, a sort of angular, it seems to be where 2 walls of the pentagon come together. There's an opening west and southwest. There is a distance of about 20 feet in any direction from the center of this room where you are. So this entire pentagon is more or less 40 feet across in most directions. Obviously slightly longer from the base, about 50 feet from the base to the point of the pentagon. You do not see, let me just double check this. Oops. You do not see anything else in this room. It smells like very rotten vegetation and compost. It's sticky on your feet, kind of like walking through a composted garden in the spring. You're sort of sinking a few inches, but there is about a 1.5 foot wide path all around the perimeter of the room where there is no compost.
Just one moment. There's 2. I see 2 openings, but I'm not sure if this place goes anywhere. Let me just check it real quick. If you don't hear from me in a few minutes, well, I may be dead. And with that, she's going to disappear and, like, I guess from out the side and go to one of the edges of where you said the kind of that path is.
Yeah. So do you want to go to the west or to the southwest corner?
Southwest.
Right. You head down there and you see where it's sort of where 2 points of the pentagon come together is this 5 foot wide opening, and it extends about 10-12 feet at a 45-degree angle before it turns straight south. But you notice about 2 feet through this doorway, there's a section of wall where there's about an 18-inch gap. And you can see through to your left and to your right through this gap into a wider cavernous space where to your left you can see water everywhere. And you can also see, peering through this, that you are at the southern edge of this pentagonal shaped room, and you're looking along that the southern edge seems to move on another piece, or sit on another piece that is curved and has teeth like gears made of stone. Looking to the right, you see the same thing along that edge of wall, and you can see about 25-30 feet away to the northwest another appears to be a large stone pentagon from the outside, and it seems to be sitting on a massive stone gear interlocking with the one that this room is in. You also see, as you sort of crane your head and kind of peer through this gap, you can see that there is about 15 feet on the other side of this passage, out in the open water, there is what looks like a cylindrical tower, a set of stone stairs, a short wooden dock, and a couple of rowboats docked there. And yes, I saw somebody said something about this reminds you of stepping onto an airplane. That's exactly, it's like stepping from the gangway onto the plane. There's that gap where you can kind of see outside the plane. That's what this is, but you're seeing this sort of geared area.
Okay, Taliel will go towards the western opening.
Okay. So you head over to the western opening. That actually, while it is in that sort of western area, it does go at about a 30-degree angle to the northwest. The gap here is a little bit wider. There's still the 18-inch gap between the sort of the two sections of hallway. And there is a, you can definitely see even clearer looking to your left. You can see another angle. You can see that dock coming off of this stone tower in the water with the boats. You looking to the right, you see more of the gear in Stone Cavern. You do see, looking that to the north of the Pentagon room you're in, there does appear to be a section, a weird sort of trapezoid shaped stone room that you can only see the shape of the walls, though there was no entrance to that direction. And there's about a almost 2-foot gap that you would have to step over, in which you can see water flowing underneath. More like if you were in a this were situated in a lake rather than a river. It's not like flowing, it's more like lapping at the edges. Yes, this has a very much a Legend of Zelda aesthetic going on here. You go further into the other, you do see that you're looking into another pentagon-shaped room.
Yeah, no, after seeing all of that, Taliel is going to go back to where she can look up to her companions. And basically, there's so much more down here. You guys should come on down.
Okay. So is it everybody coming down?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna do a we're not gonna do this at this exact moment, but be prepared so you can kind of start doing this in the background. This is one of those awkward moments where it's a mid-level level up, because reach another level of the dungeon, and that's how we're doing the levels of this dungeon. You haven't rested yet, so it will affect your selection of spells and things like that until you rest. But as you descend down here, you can begin that. When we take break, if you choose to rest, you can go ahead and get your full. But go ahead and start doing that. As you all descend, you see the same thing. You're in the midst of this foul-smelling compost heap in this room. And you see those two entrances. The one to the west opens into another pentagon. The one to the south opens into a long hallway. What would you like to do?
So once everyone is down, Taliel will say the word that causes the rope to unfasten around the pillar, and then she can coil it up and carry it.
All right. Easily done.
This isn't like any of the other floors we went through before.
Smells disgusting down here. Ugh.
Seems about right. Well,
it's very odd. And she would point towards the two openings. Go peek in there, and you'll see. I think these rooms might move. But
something about this place makes me feel more proficient. It gives me more abilities.
Yeah, Brilinya would go and look where Taliel had mentioned, and guessing she sees the gears as well.
Yeah. You would all, anybody with Taliel pointing it out, you can all see what was described very clearly.
Well, I would not want to go that way because perhaps the gears will change if we step there. Let's go this way instead. So I don't want to go to the other gear room. I'd rather go in the southern one, I believe. Because the western one is the gear room, I believe.
So instead of going to the gear room, go into the in-between space? Is that what you're...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean in between space?
Well, I thought we looked left and right in between the gap.
Yeah, but there's two space. Like the one to the west appears to be another pentagon sitting on a gear. The one to the southwest appears to be a stone hallway.
Yeah. I want to go to the stone hallway. Quali would point to the stone hallway for like, I don't want to go into another gear room. It's like I don't want it to spin if we're on it, because that might just disorient us, if that makes any sense.
No, I get that. I'm looking for I'm curious about the dock room, actually. That's
looking at where that sort of freestanding tower was in the water, and it did. So picture a stone tower about 20 feet tall. And well, actually, it wouldn't even be that. It'd be about 10 feet tall. And picture the southern part of it has what looks like a wall, basically, coming from it, going to the south. You don't see any other passages. So based on that, you would generally assume that potentially taking the passage Qualu has indicated could lead towards that area and towards where that dock is.
Yes, then I'm in concurrence with Qualu and where he'd like to go.
Very well. So you begin heading down this passageway, and the hallway that you're walking along The hallway you're walking along is choked with dust and cobwebs. And you can see now as you're walking down here that there's some flickering light up ahead that dimly illuminates a larger hallway that's running perpendicular to this one. As you reach this junction where these two areas are, you see right on the left, or on the right hand side as you're walking down, you see sprawled on sort of across the wall and partly on the ceiling in blood, dried blood, the words "Awaken Napaka." And it's in all capital letters.
Oh no.
And you're standing at this junction of this now east-west traversing passageway that is, as you're looking at it, you can see that there are large puddles of gray slime spread across the floor of this 10-foot wide, gently sloping hallway. Candles are flickering on riveted sconces, casting dim light across a sequence of sculpted reliefs depicting humanoids with bestial heads kneeling before a black star. At the lower end of the hall, a thick purple drape hangs wall to wall. At the upper end, the hallway terminates. So as you're looking at this, the upper end would be to the west or to your right, and you see the terminus at about 50, 60 feet in that direction. This purple drape is to your left about 15 feet away. What would you like to do? When I say gently sloped, it's maybe a 20 to 30 degree slope. Something like this.
Should I go first? Anyone got a handkerchief to cover my face?
Do you want me to go first? If you're not doing well.
Be careful of that slime. Perhaps its spores will get into your lungs and give you nasty diseases.
When is the last time we took a long rest? I don't remember. Has it been recent?
I think it's been a couple of sessions.
It's been a while since you've taken a long rest.
Which is 5 minutes. Yeah. A couple of sessions equals 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I'm just wondering if
I think that's not a terrible. I mean, I would be totally fine with that.
Yeah. If we can, I am just drained of spells and like
you
everything.
have not taken a long rest since you entered this level.
Oh dang.
Okay.
The last long rest you took was on the 3rd level.
When you said that, you haven't taken a long rest since you entered this level. I'm like, of course we haven't. We just entered this level.
No, sorry, I meant since you never took a long rest on the 4th level. You took a couple of short rests here and there. And I would say, based on everything you went through and those rests and solving puzzles and dealing with things, enough time has passed. You could go ahead, take a long rest, get the full benefits of your level up, which of course means that all of you are level 13 now, which is exciting.
Lucky number.
So that's going to do wonders for your health points. And we can say that unless there's anything you want to do special during the rest, we can say that you took that rest either in this hallway or in. I feel like this hallway would be more conducive to a rest than the stinky compost heap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or you could go into that other Pentagon room if you were so inclined.
I am more inclined to do the hallway if we can just go in a little bit, because I think it's probably more.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, picture just a hallway.
Sensible.
I mean, like being in an apartment building hallway. This is a 30-40 foot hallway, so you guys can sort of just slide down, hunker down, and take some rests. You would hear a lot of weird stuff throughout the duration of your rest. You hear the sloshing of the water. You hear this constant sort of thrumming sound. You hear this occasionally. You can actually, from this hallway, because they're so nearby, you hear the sound of the rowboats just sort of themselves plus the dock sort of lightly creaking under the motion of the water, sort of knocking against one another. You hear that dung, dung, dung. Water splashes. You do occasionally hear the distant sound of something otherworldly. Just a distant. But other than that, you rest without incident. Roll for initiative. I'm just kidding. The hallway is a mimic. It attacks. Yeah. Like I said, unless you have anything you want to role play, you can go ahead and do that at this time. Or we're 8 hours later and you're investigating the end of this hallway.
I think Qualo just goes out like a light, and of course he bleats and baas in his sleep.
Yeah, I would say at this point, Qualu has a definite billy goat beard, and his legs have gotten much hairier than they were. And he's growing a tail. A very stubby tail. All right. Are we going to do a real-time rest here, or you guys all got really quiet? You got really quiet.
Hey,
looking at our.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I did just give you level 13, so there's a lot to look at too.
Well, I'm trying to pick my 4th level paladin spell. So.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal. The paladin gets 4th level spells. Because your next spell levels don't come, I think, until 17.
What's funny though is that looking at my prepared spells, I've got a whole so many I've got at least I've got 2 that are always prepared. I've got 2 spells, the 4th level, that are always prepared, so that's good. Got me that sweet stone skin. Probably gonna need that. I think I'm gonna go with Aura of Life. I think that's gonna be a good one.
Brilinya, did you hit the long rest button yet?
Oh no, not yet.
I'm looking at everybody's HP and they're all very high, and you are not.
There we go.
Sometimes if you mouse over at the right time, you can actually see when the change hits, and you can watch the hit point counter rise. Kind of fun. I'm not seeing that. It might take a minute. I think everything's running a little slow. Looking at the stream feed, I think we're roughly a minute or so behind a difference between what's happening and what's happening on stream. All right.
Oh my goodness, I feel so powerful.
And yet the dungeon master still laughs.
Yeah, you got that super con now.
I know, like the 5'5" ASMR warlock has 161.
That's nuts. And it's funny, I can't remember what it is, but if you took like a barbarian and maxed HP them all the way to 20, I think they only have like 250. I think it's 250 hit points.
I think Travis Willingham as Grog hit like 300 at level 20.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 20 con, 20 levels of max rolled barbarian is 300. But the barbarian also gets a capstone of getting 24 constitution. So that's another...
unless you got something that allowed you to, Still though, 160, you're halfway to the max HP of a barbarian and you're a warlock. That's pretty good. You definitely got the right thing.
Oh,
I really like this Aura of Life spell though. It's pretty potent.
I think what we'll do, since you guys are putting the finishing touches on your level up, I'm realizing it's our usual break time. I know we got a little bit later start, but let's go ahead and take our 10-minute break now. You guys can finish up your level up, and then we'll come out of this rest and continue on. So, if you are hanging with us in the audience, thank you. It looks like the stream health is going up and down. But we've been pretty stable for a while. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. If you are, hope you're enjoying what's going on. And just a heads up, we decided if something happens and the stream completely borks out, we're going to continue playing offline, but I'm going to keep recording the rest of the session, and we'll just load the VOD up with the others at a later time. So I'm just going to bump over here. Let's start the timer. Yeah, we'll be back in about 10 minutes, so please join us back at just a couple minutes after 10 Eastern Time. We'll see you on the other side. And we are back. It's been 8 hours. You have taken a much-needed rest as you've moved into this new area, and Brilinya even remarked upon your arrival on this level and seeing what Taliel pointed out, that this seems different than previous levels. This has less structure to it. You moved into this hallway, and the weight of the last, what you can only assume is a day, having no judgment of time and the passage of time, you all slump against the walls of this corridor and quickly fall into a sleep. And it is a dreamless sleep. But when you awaken, you all feel well rested, and you all feel stronger from your adventuring. As you move through this tomb, you feel incredible strength. You can separate that from the spirits of the trickster gods that inhabit you. You, with the exception of Vale, who you actually can attribute large amounts of this new ability, almost as if Ubtao is bestowing more knowledge and strength upon you. And whether or not you hoped or wished for it, at the end of this 8 hours, you're still missing your right arm from the elbow down. No change there. But everybody is healed up. Everybody is leveled up. And you are in the midst of this tunnel with a pentagon room on some sort of stone gear in the middle of an underground lake. And the other direction, you have a slightly slanted hallway with a purple drape at one end and what appears to be a dead end up at the top of the slope. Candles flickering along the walls. These carvings along the walls that indicate the excuse me, I am on the wrong level. Hold on. Like, nothing is making sense here with these room numbers. The humanoids with bestial heads that are bowing before a black star. And the phrase scrawled along the ceiling and part of the wall that simply says, "Awaken Napaka." How would you like to proceed?
Carefully. Very, very carefully.
What would you like to do?
Not wake Napaka, I think, would be the key here. Let's not do that.
No, let's yeah.
So Qualu and Vale had a brief discussion about who should go in the room first.
You should be careful if you go in there. That slime might produce spores that'll give you a nasty disease.
I'll be all right.
You got so many already, you don't want to keep track?
Yeah, something like that. No, disease doesn't affect me. So I might as well go in then. And I'll go in.
All right.
Because I got to shoot my shot. I'm assuming in that long rest, my arm didn't grow back.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, I was hoping.
So in this room, there is two large patches almost completely across the floor that are about 10 to 12 feet across of this sort of gray slime on the floor. First, as you enter, are you going up the slope to the far end or down the slope towards this purple drape? And are you trying to avoid the slime, or are you just not concerned about it?
I'll probably ask the others what they think.
If disease didn't affect you, might as well drink the stuff.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, should I go towards the purple drape or should I go up?
Drape must be hiding something. It might be one of those boar heads that make you want to stick your head in. So be careful. Put a helmet on first.
All right. Could I get the opinion of someone with a little bit more intelligence? Just anyone?
Hello, my name is Vale. I like to dance.
If you are asking my opinion, I think you should see what is behind the purple curtain. It has got to be something lovely. As Yak is still there, hanging out with y'all.
But before you check this purple curtain, I'll reveal what's behind another purple curtain and see if you want to change your choice.
What do I smell?
That's like the worst question to ask, I think, on this level.
I know. I've been afraid to, but I'm going to do it.
Sort of honing in, trying to sense if there is anything of valuable gold or gemstones or metals. You take a moment, scenting the air around you, and you don't detect anything.
And what's on the upward slope of the room? Like, what's up there that's of interest?
So the room slopes up about 50 feet. At the upper end, it ends, but all along the sloping hallway is a series of these bas reliefs depicting humanoids with beast heads. Some have heads of boars, some heads of crocodiles, flamingos, piranha or quippers, all variety of creatures.
I say purple curtain.
Though the statues are interesting.
Put on a helmet first.
Usually in the other levels, I know this level is different, but usually the statues had something about them.
All right. Well, I'll start. Can I start by like walking toward the purple curtain, but like check out the statues on the way?
Yeah, they're less statues and they're more just like,
or more like bas reliefs.
Yeah, it's bas reliefs, so they extend maybe 3 or 4 inches out. So you're gonna move towards the curtain, and checking out the bas relief statues. In doing so, you would end up walking through some of that slime.
Okay, well, can I at least like try and like look at it by like and avoid it?
Yeah, I mean it's 7-8 feet away, so I would say looking. So the area you are in, you see a boar-headed humanoid, or rather 2 boar-headed humanoids that are holding a I can't think what they're called, palanquin, with a female humanoid with a fox head hoisted between them. That's the only relief. It takes up about a 10-foot section of wall here because the purple drape is only 15 feet away.
Okay. I'll relay the information back and I'll start walking and avoiding the slime.
So you move around the north edge, kind of skirting along the northern edge of this hallway, staying out of this slime, and you find yourself in front of this curtain. It's purple, and it stretches the complete 10 feet distance, hangs all the way to the floor and ceiling, and there's just a subtle movement to it, but you can get the sense, you just feel like there's a space behind it.
All right. I will I'll start to move the curtain. Well, actually, I'll just kind of like pull it back a little bit and see if I can like look through the other side.
You can. You pull it aside and you see on the other side of the curtain, the hallway extends for another 15 feet before ending at a stone wall. But in front of the stone wall, you see a 6-foot-tall statue of a leering 4-armed gargoyle leaning against the wall, standing against the wall. But one of its arms has broken off and lies on the floor in front of it, its hand curled into a tight fist. The other 3 arms of the gargoyle have their clawed hands open in such a way they appear to suggest that they are meant to hold something. Carved into the wall above the statue, you see what looks like a riddle. 3 I need, then 3 more. 3 more still opens the door.
Okay. I'll pull the whole curtain back. So wait, so this creature is what? Just a mummified thing, or is
it's a statue?
Statue
gargoyle.
Thing. Okay.
It's a gargoyle. It's a stone statue.
Oh, okay.
One arm, maybe a little longingly, you look at the broken arm laying on the ground, empathizing with this creature that's lost an arm. But yeah, it's got 3 arms extended out. They seem to look as though they're upturned like to hold something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that's lying on the ground is curled tightly into a fist, broken off.
Okay.
Did the girls upstairs have 4 arms as well, or just 2?
This is much. They all had 4.
Okay.
But this one is much smaller than the gargoyles that were in the room above.
Sorry, what was the riddle again? 3 I need?
I just put it in the chat. 3 I
thank
need,
you.
then 3 more. 3 more still opens the door.
And I'll start walking back, and I'm going to say to Taliel, do you still have all those gemstones, the beholder eyes? Do we have 9 of them?
No, they all went into the door of the beholder room.
Ah, right. Damn it.
What's over there? What'd you find?
Behind the curtain was just a statue of a gargoyle and a riddle.
Coin slot?
No coin slot. It says 3 I need, then 3 more. 3 more still opens the door. So it's supposed to be 9 of something.
What door is it opening?
I don't know.
I don't see any door here.
Might be a secret.
Secret door with what? Angry zombies or zombie wasps? I don't know.
Who knows? It's something, though. I think the purple curtain is safe. I think if we just avoid the slime, we could just go up the ramp and then move on. I think that would be at least the safest bet.
Something about this place makes me a bit leery. I saw in a play one time of a room that was slanted like this, and a big boulder came chasing the man. Oh, he was what? Jonesiana or something. His name was the treasure hunter.
Get out. Get out. Just get out. You're done. Take your beard and go. Get out.
But I don't have a beard. Qualu is clean shaven.
Yeah. You know now that Disney's going to sue us.
I've got a goat beard now. Oh, no. Oh,
you know, Disney's going to sue us now, right?
Oh, jeez. How long have you let Qualu grow his beard like this? Oh, no.
Hey, wait. Actually, you know what? That reminds me. Now that Disney owns Lucas, does that mean that Indiana Jones is a Disney princess? Right? See? Yeah, never thought about that, did you? Yeah. Kind of badass.
Qualu is being serious, though. Why do we want door open?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? If this thing needs 9 of something, then that very well could be the door that leads to a server rack.
You know what there is 9 of? 9 trickster gods. Perhaps we need to find the last trickster god to open the door.
You know,
how many trickster gods we have now? 8?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, that's a really good point. I mean, if we take whatever things that we garnered from their tombs, put them in, maybe that's how it would work.
I don't know that we picked up something from every one of their tombs.
You did.
We did? Okay.
You've taken every trickster god treasure. You just didn't always get inhabited. And some of you have more than one.
What is that on floor next to you, Vale? I'm looking around this corridor, and there's something on the ground there in front of you, behind the curtain. What is it?
Oh, it's just a broken piece of stone hand.
You think it's supposed to be like that?
I mean, I'd wager it's probably just damaged. Hang on. And I'm gonna go down and I'll look at the hand. The broken piece of hand. Pick it up.
All right. You look closely at it, and it is clenched in a tight fist. Go ahead and give me a investigation check.
That was a 15.
As you look down closely at this, there, with the curtain thrown open now, the light from the flickering torches and the sconces on the wall are causing the shadows to dance a little bit. And you're looking closely at this fist, and you catch a glint. When you shift your view, you look again, you can just make out between the fingers, clenched tightly in this massive gargoyle fist, appears to be a very large ruby. It is completely enclosed with the exception of a few glimpses between the fingers, where this ruby is so big the gargoyle couldn't quite grip it.
I'm going to have a look to see if maybe like looking at the hand, does it look like it's actually been broken off, or does it look like there's something that I can actually just attach the hand back to?
The whole arm is what's lying on the floor. And the arm looks as though it's been broken off.
Okay. All right, I'm going to pick it up and I'll just walk back to the group. Right, well, we have an arm. But what's more importantly is what's in this hand. Have a look. And I'll kind of hold the arm out to where the ruby is. And
do you think that that's what it meant? With what it needs in its hand? Its other hands?
Taliel, are you still in the other corridor entryway, or did you come up by Vale on this?
I thought he came back to us.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm just curious. I just wanted to make sure I understand where you are. As he comes closer, you can smell the ruby, and it smells valuable.
Don't let Yak know.
I've got
Don't let Yak know what?
I have a present for you. It wasn't supposed to know. Anyway, just what do you have there, Vale?
It looks to be a ruby, I think. It's the gargoyle's arm that was behind the purple drapery.
Can I take a closer look at it?
Yeah. I'll hand off the arm to her.
Does it look like what has been described to me as the Eye of Zeltek, from what I can see of it?
It doesn't. You can't see enough of it to really get a sense if that's what this is by the look. But based on what you know about the Eye of Zeltek and its value, this smells very valuable.
All right. I don't have any. I think I'll take my dagger out and using the pommel of it, try to chip maybe one of the fingers of this gargoyle to see if I can break it off so we can get into the gem.
All right. So you pull out one of your daggers. Go ahead and give me a strength check.
That would be an 18.
Snap! Your dagger breaks.
Try using this instead. Quali will hand you, Taliel, the Staff of Striking. Or maybe, let me do it. If you don't want to be a goat or hold this thing.
So you're gonna...
Just don't damage the stone inside.
I will be gentle.
I'm gonna hit it gently. So you're gonna strike the...
Yeah, Cole's gonna set the thing on the ground, and he's gonna go for like a thumb or something that is like definitely not directly over top of where the gem might be, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
And just kind of smashing down to the butt of the staff, as he thinks that the magic of the staff might not let it break when it smacks into a gargoyle hand.
When you were a kid, or I suppose even as an adult, did you ever hit a baseball bat against like a telephone pole or the ground, and you just get that painful vibration in your hand? That's what you get when you strike this thing. This sort of vibrating pain in your hand as the stone arm and hand do not give in any way when you strike it. You're getting the sense that whatever this riddle is referring to may be what's required.
Paulu thinks that this stone is harder than his staff.
So we can't brute force it open. We have to be clever. Figure this out.
And as point of reference, because it came up in our side chat, Taliel did mention at a point in time that the Company of the Yellow Banner had actually entered the Tomb of the Nine Gods specifically looking for the Eye of Zeltek in order to free the elven spirit from the Ghost Lantern.
Do we have another ruby?
I don't have any. I've got other stones, but no rubies.
Qualu has nothing.
I just think that if it was in a hand, maybe with the other hands open, maybe it wants more.
Maybe it's like the gargoyles upstairs and they want a coin in each of the hands. Or like other places, maybe it's blood. Don't like thinking about that. Did you see the other hands, Vale? Was there any clue that what they would hold?
Did I?
You saw them, but you didn't look close at them.
Okay. Well,
I'll go back. I'll go back and have a quick look. It's better if I go, because if this slime is dangerous, it won't affect me.
Okay, well, maybe what we can do then is you can try placing different items in the hands, see if anything reacts. So maybe I can give you the staff, because that was one thought that we had, was that it was from the Nine Gods.
True, but here's the thing, though. I'll go back and have a look at the statue more closely. There's no reason in giving me anything just yet, because remember, if the riddle says it needs 3 and 3 more and 3, it needs 9 things. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's part of the gargoyle. Gargoyle only has, now 3 hands. So
there could be 2 more gargoyles somewhere with 3 hands.
There could be.
It from the riddle, it's interesting. It doesn't say 9. It looks like it's in sequence. So I wonder if maybe they move to reveal more hands.
Gargoyle 9
right?
hands.
Like,
yeah,
because it looks like it's in steps, right? Then 3, then 3. So it looks like something happens.
That's a really, really good idea, Brill. I think.
Are there any holes that arms could come out of?
I don't know. I didn't look hard enough. I'm gonna go look now.
But before you do, let's think. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna start walking back towards the gargoyle. I'm actually gonna take the curtain and like pull it all the way back, just so it's completely open. Is there like a rod that I can just slide?
Yeah, it just slides open. Okay. All right, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
God. Please, D20. Oh, shit. 20.
What a great use of an at 20. So, Vale, you get in close and you start looking around this statue. And you look close at each of its outstretched hands. And now with the curtain thrown completely wide, you see that there is something glittering on the surface of the palms of these open hands. And you even see a little bit of it on the ground now, starting to sort of glittering in the flickering light. And you look really close. You sort of reach out and just touch a little bit on the ground with, well, not this hand, as you sort of pick it up. You do that thing where you sort of pick it up and just kind of go like this. And you realize it's gem dust. You see red and blue and green and white, yellow, orange, purple, a whole variety, but it's a fine powder.
You know what? What I wouldn't give for a wizard and a mending spell right now. Okay. So I'm going to collect some of that gem dust. Actually, I want to collect most of that gem dust because I have a feeling that, I'm probably going to need that for spells at some point or something.
I would say there's enough on the ground that you could get maybe a pinch of gem dust.
Okay. So hey, you know what? I do that. Kind of scoop that into a bag, something. I'm going to go back and let everyone know what I found. And I'll probably finish it off with just very well could be something that just crushes gems. I'm not sure. But unless we have any extra gems kicking around, which I...
How about that Wand of Wonder? You can just shoot the Wand of Wonder to make gems, can't you? Because it happened last time.
Well. That's one of the things.
You feeling lucky? Funk?
Just do it again, Brilinya. Do it again. Just twirl it in the right way you did last time to get all the gems flying out.
With the long rest, would I be able to regain some charges? I forgot about that actually.
Yeah. Yes, you would. It regains 1d6 plus 1 expended charges.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Well, do we have any gems actually before I do this?
I do. I have gems. Some of them are worth a lot. Some of them are worth not very much.
Maybe we should try the ones that are worth not so much.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to see if I've got like 3 of those. I've been slowly dishing them out to our good friend here.
Maybe we should put yak on the hand.
Doesn't he have gems for eyes?
Yak is made of gold.
Oh. I thought he had gems for eyes. We could pry
if
out.
he ever had gems for eyes, he probably ate them.
So maybe we'll just try 3. See how that goes.
Yeah, so I've got 3 gems that are worth 10 gold each. So one's malachite, one's a lapis lazuli, and the other is an eye agate.
All right. So what are you doing with them?
I'm going to give them to Vale to put on the one on each of the outstretched hands.
Yep.
All right. You place a gemstone in each of the hands. When the third gemstone is placed, all 3 hands go and then just sort of the fingers go like this, and gem dust sprinkles to the floor, and the hands go. And on the wall, the first line of the riddle, you hear as a crack appears in the stone, striking out the first phrase, 3 I need.
Okay, so now the next gems I have are all worth a lot more, but it reminded me that we had that jewel box that had gems on it.
There were black opals in the eyes of the scorpion that was or the cockroach that was on the jewelry box.
So maybe we could pry those off.
Pop them off. Let's do it.
So that's 2 more.
I think I have. Hang on. I'm pretty sure, like we got some gems from the beholder room. Like I think I may have picked up like a ruby or emerald or something.
What if the real gems were the friends we made along the way?
Shut up. Everyone's a comedian.
Yeah, I have more gems, but they're all worth 100 GP each. So if we have cheaper ones, then I'd rather use those first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I'm almost positive I have a small emerald or something like that from the. I know I have a bead of force, but it probably would be a bad idea to use that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
even though that's very cheeky.
One of the items that was in I went back to the treasure hoard that you got from the beholder room. There was a gold coronet shaped like an octopus with mother of pearl eyes.
But that was like really expensive.
The coronet was worth 2,500 gold pieces as a whole. There were no other gemstones in that loot.
There was also I have a clay chameleon statue with crystal beads that change color. I don't know if those crystal.
The whole chameleon was only worth 25 gold pieces.
Yeah.
And the beads themselves are just beads of crystal. They're not gemstones.
Okay.
What else do I have? There is a chance that we go back to this later, but
well, we have 2 opals right now, right?
You got 2 black opals from the cockroach, so you'd need 1 more gem to put with it to get 3.
I could put a jet with it. It's a 100 GP, but I mean, at least it gets us 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2 black opals and a jet placed in each of the hands, 1 in each. Again, the hands crush the gemstones and sprinkle the dust down on the ground. Another crack appears in the wall, and the second line of the riddle appears to be stricken out.
In the beginning of the tomb, in the very beginning, didn't we find some treasure in that one room that I think we took it was a safe room. Shoot, I can't
the room
remember.
where you rested?
Yeah.
So that was in fact, it was the first Trickster God tomb that you uncovered. That was Obalaka's tomb. And you found in there was a ring of protection. And that was all you found in that room, because you guys actually burned the masks that were in there. You were scared of them.
Can you blame us? Can you blame us?
I mean, you're searching your inventory for gems. Taliel's already said she's got them. She said they're just pricier gems.
Yeah.
So it's your call.
Let's just use, I think, 3.
3 more?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just use 3 amethysts. Give you 3 amethysts.
How much are those worth?
Each worth 100.
The whole time you're handing these off,
I know.
Yak is standing next to you just going, "What are you doing? What in the... Oh my gosh." The first time he's like, "Oh, maybe this will make more gems. And then we can all have some." Oh, I could eat. Yeah. And then when they get crushed, he's like, "What? No, this is not how this is." And then when you do it again, he's like, "Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Why are you doing this to me?"
Yeah. Couldn't you just I don't know, snort the gem dust or something?
I bet he's like underneath it, like, I'm trying to get the gem dust.
I don't have a tongue. But when you put those 3 amethysts out there, he would absolutely be under one of the hands, just sort of his mouth just going chomp, 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 chomp as the dust is sprinkling down from these 3 final gemstones. And as they are crushed, which I lost track. I have so many things open. Hold on. Where? Oh, I skipped levels, that's why. We are on the Gears of Hate, and you are about to die. Okay, so the last line, 3 more still, and opens the door. Both of those, the cracks appear. And then, Vale, are you still holding the arm of the statue? Did you set it down? Well, you'd have to have set it down to put the gemstones in.
Yeah.
At your feet, the fingers of this severed arm open. And there, in the palm, is a fist-sized ruby. Easily worth 5,000 gold pieces. But sold at auction in a major city, this thing could be worth 25,000, 30,000 gold pieces.
You know, I feel really bad, so I'm just gonna give that ruby to Yak and be like, "Look, man, I'm just kidding. I just wanted Karen's reaction. That was fire. That was perfect. I actually heard the moment the jaw, kind of like just, hit the table. It was like, oh, it's perfect. No, I'm gonna grab it.
As soon as you grab the ruby out of the palm, the gargoyle's mouth opens, and a cloud of gas fills this section of the hall. What are you immune to?
everything.
I know there's certain conditions
yes.
that you are. I know you can't get disease.
Correct. Down here.
It should tell you right near the top what your
oh yeah
immunities are.
So I have advantage against being charmed. Magic can't put me to sleep. Advantage, frightful presence and breath weapons of dragons. And I have just a natural +4 on saves. For some reason, though, it doesn't say that I'm... Oh, here we go. Defenses. I'm immune to being diseased and frightened. And I have resistance to everything, to all, whatever the fuck that means, and cold.
So, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw then.
All right, then. Okay, so... let's see, so... 24.
As this gas blasts in your face, it doesn't affect you. You resist the poisonous effects of this gas. Also, the far end of the hallway at the top of the slope, the stone wall drops down, and I'm gonna see if I can do this.
A 10-foot diameter boulder comes shooting out.
It is.
It's a room full of chests and treasure.
Actually, no, it's a guy chasing a boulder this time.
All right, I'm going to do this. I think this will work. OBS made it very easy to share.
Oh no.
I'm gonna drop this in here. Yes, I want that to go. Then I'm gonna make it big so you can see it better. Yeah, there we go. We'll come out of studio mode. All right, here's what you see. Start rolling down the slope towards you. A massive stone juggernaut begins rolling its way down the hill toward you. This thing is let me find it. The construct fills the height and width of the hall and begins barreling towards you at an alarming speed. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
This is fine.
At least it's not on fire.
Use a post-it note. All right, so we got... Oh, you know what I was going to do? I'm going to try this. There is, in D&D Beyond, there is a new... it's a tool that's in alpha called the Combat Tracker. And, no, that's not what I want. I mean, it is, but I think there's a different way. So I think I can add... So there's 4 of you. You know what? This might not be easy to do. Let me try one other thing. Because the whatchamacallit, this I thought it was easier to do. I'm not gonna mess with it. I haven't played with it yet. My son was telling me about it. You can actually manage through the campaign. You can add the characters, add their hit points, add your monsters, and then you just plug in the initiative rolls and it auto orders. And all of your stat blocks are on hand in that one sheet. I thought I could do it on the fly, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So, well, just forget that. we'll instead go to this. Open a new link. So, Vale, what'd you get?
Oop, almost. I got a 12.
Brilinya.
16.
Taliel.
13.
Walu.
11.
And Stone Juggernaut. We'll have... Really? Okay. So, the order of operations is... Vale, or excuse me, Brilinya is first, followed by Taliel, followed by Vale, followed by Qualu, followed by the Stone Juggernaut. All right, Brilinya, looking at this Juggernaut, what would you like to do?
And it's rolling down towards Vale.
It is rapidly rolling down, and Vale's the only one actively in. Well, you're all sort of in the entryway, but Vale's like at the end of the hall in the line of this thing.
I'm just looking quickly at. So interesting. If I hit a creature with an Eldritch Blast, I can, but this isn't a creature, is it?
It is a construct.
Okay. Trying to see if there's anything I can do that would like stop or at least slow it down. Okay. It's going to hit it with some. Oh.
Was that you? I sent a private message. It was you that had that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would know, because this is pretty new information. When you acquired the scepter, you understood that it had a singular purpose.
That's right. And it was Brilinya that took it, right? Or was it Taliel?
Taliel,
I thought I had it. I put it on my character sheet.
Taliel has it. Never mind, okay. Brilinya, you don't know that. I got confused.
Well, maybe Brilinya would know that, but she doesn't have it, so she's going to...
So you're going to Eldritch Blast the Juggernaut.
Perfect. So, right. That is a 26, a natural 20 for 36, and a 1 for 13.
So the 13 won't hit.
Okay. So that is going to do a 34 points of force damage.
You see dust and pieces of stone chip away from it as you blast it, but it does not stop its thundering roll down the chamber. Taliel, you know that the adamantine scepter that you hold had one singular purpose.
Yeah, and I'm counting on the fact that is what this thing is. And so Taliel is going to brandish that scepter and I guess go up to it and try to smash it. My movement is 35. Could I get to it in one movement?
You can.
Okay. All right. What kind of weapon is a scepter considered? Is it like a flail?
It's basically like a mace.
Okay, so that'll be a 29 to hit with the first hit. I do get 3 hits.
Taliel, you go charging out. You all watch as Taliel suddenly pushes into this area with an incline and just goes charging towards this mass. I mean, this thing fills the hallway pretty much. It's rolling on giant stone wheels. But Taliel, you're looking at the carvings on it, and you see the word Napaka carved across the front of the stone juggernaut. You go running toward it, wielding the scepter. And you connect with the front of it just as it's barreling into you. And all of you watch as Taliel disappears in a cloud of dust. Pieces of broken stone come clattering down to rest at your feet, Brilinya and Qualu. And as you look back up the slope, the dust begins to settle. And there stands Taliel, holding the adamantine scepter, with one strike completely destroying the Guardian. Well done.
I think Taliel turns around, almost looking at the others as if she didn't believe that was what was going to happen. And so you see this look of shock, but also kind of joy at the same time. It worked.
At least something in this tomb proved to be helpful.
Is everyone all right?
That was amazing. Are you okay?
She would look down at herself, kind of pat her arm in places. I think so.
I mean, Taliel's completely covered. It looks like you just spent the day working in drywall or something. You're just covered in dust.
She sneezes.
Into your elbow.
Right. While holding out the scepter the other way.
Right. Taliel dabs in the middle of the hall. All right. You can now see, because you've destroyed this, that there was only another 15-foot section behind this wall where the stone juggernaut resided. There's nothing else in this hallway. It seems that you've destroyed the Guardian and retrieved the treasure that it guarded.
Yeah, Taliel would turn to Vale. Did it work? You have the ruby?
I do. And I'm going to hand the ruby to Taliel.
I think she would kind of cradle it almost reverently, because this is what she was here for. And I think almost seeing this ruby and thinking of it brings back all the memories of her previous party. And I think right then and there you'll see the I guess almost mud now because she's just covered in the dust. She would just kind of fall to the floor and sob. I found it.
And I think that's a good place to end this session. Yeah, looking at where you are and what you've done, yeah, great place to end the session. Just so you know, it really came down to the initiative order versus that stone juggernaut. Because it had 225 hit points. That's a giant stone construct. And, I mean, if it hit you, I mean, it wasn't going to hurt too bad, I'm sure. 3d12 plus 6. And you might have been knocked prone. And it doesn't just roll downhill. It rolls back and forth and tries to steamroll you. Yeah, it's worse than it's worse than a rolling stone or boulder. Good Lord.
Does it? So if it's not a boulder, then does it gather moss?
But if you had gotten knocked prone by this, as Vale might very well have, and you get run over while you're prone, it does a lot more damage. But you had fought hard and well earned that adamantine scepter. And now you have the Eye of Zoltek that you and so many of your party died. You didn't, but so many of your party died to retrieve. So we'll see next week in what's going to be our 65th session as the players and characters are now on the 5th level of the Tomb of the Nine Gods, a little place known as the Gears of Hate. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. I know things were a bit rough at the beginning. It looks like stream health picked up near the end. My internet was suffering, but I feel like everyone's internet is suffering. And, we're just going to deal with it. But yeah, thanks for sticking around with us and checking it out. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Everything willing, things are always up in the air right now. With a few of us that play in the All That Glitters game are still working jobs that are considered either essential or we can work from home. So we're still working full time. So in some cases, more than full time. So we're playing it by ear, waiting to see what happens each day. Just stay tuned. But we're expecting to be able to play what could very well be the Waterdeep Dragon Heist finale, potentially this week. And Tuesday night, you're going to want to tune in to Dice on Ice, where you can find myself and Connor and Kaeryn and our friend Jason trying to survive what M throws at us in the Curse of Strahd. This Wednesday, I will be over on Erasmus Expeditions for another edition of our Momentum Whispers and Fragments campaign with Jeremy as the DM. Thursday, the Dawnbringers return, but not in their usual form. We are playing in a Harbinger one-shot run by Jeremy of Erasmus Expeditions right here on Mini Terrain Domain. And then Friday, will be at 10 p.m. Eastern, will be the return of Alan's Curse of Strahd campaign that he runs here on the channel. Stay tuned to see if I'm going to be running a live crafting stream that evening beforehand over on YouTube. And then Saturday, you can find myself and Kaeryn and Em and our friends Carrie and Dwight trying to survive the Dust Billies in a 1970s Call of Cthulhu scenario, game mastered or lore keepered by, I don't know how you say it, Call of Cthulhu, by none other than Alex, one of the authors of the Highway of Blood scenario, co-written with DBJ and Ian Christensen of Fantastic Dimensions did some editing on that. We're playing our second session of that game right here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday evening. So lots of great stuff going on in the week to come, and then we'll be back here next Sunday night for the next session. So we're trying to keep you flush with stuff to watch on our through Mini Terrain Domain while everybody is isolated in their homes. So stay tuned. Follow the channel. Hit that little notification button to be notified when we go live. And of course, finally, I want to thank, as always, Mike, Kaeryn, Em, and Connor, without whom I would just be talking to myself for 3 hours. We're going to go ahead and end the stream now, the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
I'll crush some stones.